Alright, welcome to another edition of the FantasyPicks.com podcast. I'm your host, Brett Talley, and we're here to talk about daily fantasy strategy for June 17th, 2014 on Draft Street. June 16th, 2014 was one of the worst daily fantasy days of the year for me. I mean, I've had plenty of days where, I lose money or don't cash in anything. But not only did I not cash in anything, I was finishing dead last in shit yesterday. It was just a total miss. But whatever, it happens. Get back on the horse. Try again tomorrow. Stick with me. So let's quickly discuss weather. No real weather concerns as far as rain goes. Kansas City at Detroit, 30% chance of rain. Not that worried about it. Some nice wind conditions in Cleveland, blowing out to right field at about 14 miles an hour. Cleveland is a good home run park for left-handed hitters. That wind will help a little more tomorrow. Mets at St. Louis, winds blowing out 11 to the left. Don't really like the Mets against Walker, and I actually kind of like Nice against the Cardinals too, who have been really bad against lefties, so nothing to be gained there. Main thing I think is just maybe the Cleveland lefties can be taken advantage of, but we'll touch on that in a second, or right now actually. Talk about the stacks I took a look at for the day. As always, took the steamer projections, compared them to cost, see which might be the best values, best plays. As far as hitter stacks goes, I looked at the Orioles. They'll be facing Miguel Gonzalez. No, they will be facing Eric Bedard, lefty. So I'm looking at some of their righties, all of their righties: Machado, Jones, Cruz, Hardy. I'm hoping that's what, 2, 3, 5, 6 in the lineup. Taking a look at the Red Sox, they're facing Phil Hughes, who's been pretty good this year. We got Ortiz and Nava, they're two lefties. Napoli handles righties okay, and pretty good actually, and Drew is about average against them. So I've got Ortiz, Napoli, Nava, Drew there. Indians, those lefties, I've got Kipnis, Santana, Chisenhall, Murphy as the lefties I've picked out. Angels, I've got Calhoun, Hamilton, and Ibar. I've also thrown in Pujols to make that a four-man stack. So there's the lefties in that game. Dodgers facing Yolis Chacin. They've been very good against right-handed pitching. So I've got their lefties, Gonzalez and Ethier, along with their studs, Ramirez and Puig. Brewers getting a left-handed starter today, which I don't feel like has happened all that much this year, but their team sets up better to handle lefties. They just got a righty-heavy lineup. So I've got two stacks I'm looking at with them, and they both include guys that are at the bottom of that order: Mark Reynolds and Gene Segura, probably hitting 7-8. In one of them I've got the 5-6, Aramis Ramirez and Chris Davis with them, and then in the other one I have it circling back around to the top with Reynolds, Segura, and then Weeks and Braun. Yankees lefties, weather kind of sets up nicely for Yankees lefties. Actually, that's not the case. Let me make sure. Yeah, no, that's not the case. The wind is actually blowing out to left field. Maybe sets up a little bit better for righties, but I couldn't help but notice that there were a lot of good potential values with some of the Yankees lefties today. So I'm taking a look at Ellsbury, Teixeira, McCann, and Beltran. I'm hoping that's 3, 4, 5, 6. The Rays are facing Miguel Gonzalez. He's a righty, so I've got three of their lefties: Loney, Zobrist, and Joyce in with Longoria. Rangers facing Tommy Milone, a lefty, so I've got Beltre, Rios, and Choice are the three I like the most. Choice hit 8 yesterday. Beltre and Rios are hitting 3 and 4 to sort of bridge that gap. I threw in Donnie Murphy, who's really cheap. And the Nationals are facing a lefty, Dallas Keuchel, so I've got 4 of their righties: Rendon, Worth, Zimmerman, and Desmond. So when I run the projections comparing to cost, the best stack of the day kind of looks like it's the Rangers to me from a value standpoint. I'm not wild about Donnie Murphy, but I do like Michael Choice there, and I want to pair him with those guys, so I don't want to go 3, 4, 8, so I'll probably go with Beltre, Rios, Murphy, and Choice. I could easily see just going Beltre and Rios if you had the money to do it somewhere. Next, I think I like the Nationals. Dallas Keuchel's been great, but the Nationals handle left-handed pitching pretty well. I think the price is right. It's about $22,000 for those 4 right-handers, so I think the Nationals are a good value play. And then mid-priced options, Yankees and Angels. I do like Marcus Stroman a little bit. He's facing the Yankees, but I just think that 3, 4, 5, 6 has some potential. They've all got the platoon advantage. I think it's a nice price at $24.5 for the 4 of them. Same for the Angels. They're at about 25,000. As I mentioned, really like the conditions there. I think I like them more than the Indians, especially from a value standpoint. So I'd be looking at the Angels, and then if I wanted to spend some money, I'd probably be looking at that Dodgers stack I mentioned. So just to recap: Rangers, Beltre, Rios, Murphy, Choice, and Nationals, Rendon, Worth, Zimmerman, Desmond as your value plays. Mid-priced options: Yankees, Ellsbury, Teixeira, McCann, Beltran, and Angels, Calhoun, Pujols, Hamilton, Ibar as your mid-priced. And if you want to spend money, Dodgers, Andre Ethier, Adrian Gonzalez, Yasiel Puig, Hanley Ramirez. All right, pitching today. Let's start at the top. There's a whole lot of expensive pitchers today. Just over 18,000. We've got Scherzer, Walker, Samardzija, Greinke, Lester, Darvish, Cueto, and Keuchel, and Tanaka. So lots of expensive guys today. The two I like the best are Scherzer and Walker. They just have killer matchups against the Royals and Mets. Don't like Keuchel, as I mentioned. I like that Washington stack. Tanaka's got the Blue Jays, who are obviously great. Darvish has the A's, who are great. Cueto has the Pirates, who are above average. That's not a terrible matchup, though. Lester, I'm not a big fan of, even though the matchup with the Twins isn't that bad. Samardzija gets the Marlins, who are actually an average hitting team, and then Phil Hughes gets Boston. Just don't totally love that. So expensive options: Scherzer and Walker. Mid-priced, I like Irvin Santana against the Phillies, who have been awful against righties. He'll cost you about 15.5. Jonathan Neese, 15.2. He's a lefty facing the Cardinals. Cardinals, for whatever reason, are much worse against lefties and righties, despite being sort of a righty-heavy lineup. So I like them as the mid-priced options there and cheap. I guess Stroman, if I'm not going to use the Yankees. I think Marcus Stroman comes out as a nice value play at 11.8. But I'll probably be using that pretty sparingly. I could make the case for Kyle Kendrick at 8.7, given that he's facing the Braves, who have been really, really bad against right-handed pitching. But I'd be hard pressed to trust doing that too much. So Scherzer, Walker, Santana, Neese, and then Stroman, and maybe Kendrick if you're going cheap. So good luck to everybody tomorrow. I sure hope you do better than I did on Monday, and I will be back on Friday with another podcast.